welcome to Singer's Advice. My name is Sarah Brickel and I'm a singer, songwriter and vocal coach. I've been working in the industry for many years and I'm here to share with you the tips, advice and techniques that I've learned along the way. So let's talk about making a living out of being a singer. So at some point you've decided that you don't want to do anything else with your life. You want to sing. That's it. That is what you're meant to do. And I think it's one of the biggest decisions you ever make, and sometimes we don't even realise we've made the decision. We might kind of get into it at school, at college, go to university, do a course, come out, and then we're out in the big wide world. But you've made a decision that that is what you're going to do with your life. But sometimes it's not always as easy as that, and we find that we kind of fall into, well, I'm going to do a day job and then I'm going to do what I do sort of at the weekend, or I'm going to just do a job until I get the next contract, and we kind of go along like that for kind of years on end, and we're kind of thinking, what's going on? So how can we go about actually making it a part of everyday life? Well, there's quite a few things you can do, and it's all about being quite open-minded and being a person that can fit into a lot of different things, a lot of different categories of music, and that your voice can be different. You can do a musical, or you can do a pop band, or you can do a jazz band, or you can do you can go out there and you can share your knowledge with people, you can teach people, you can help them. And now this, to some people, is like, yeah, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to write my own songs, I'm going to get a record deal, and I'm going to be really famous. Well, that's great, and I'm all up for dreams and aspirations, and I believe that if you really focus on what you want, that you will get it in the end, no matter how long it takes. But the other thing is that we also want to have a life, not just sort of sit in your room thinking, oh, when this person comes and knocks on my door and gives me this £1 million contract, then my whole life's going to change and everything will be alright then. Well, you could be waiting a very long time, or it could never happen. That is the fact of it. It's not to do with talent. You could be the most talented person, you could write the best songs in the world, but unless opportunity knocks, unless you get that lucky break, unless you really kind of get out there and you get your stuff to people, no one's going to know that you exist. And things like that can take a very long time. So, the survival guide of being a singer. Well, first of all, get your voice the best it can be. Learn good technique, good communication skills, good performance skills, all of that should just go without saying. But your voice has got to be tip-top shape. Look after it, work on it. Never think that there's nothing more that you can learn, because there's always more to learn. There's always something else. There's always new things, there's always new ideas. So don't think, right, I'm a perfect singer now, so everyone come and employ me, everyone should do this. No, there are a million singers out there who are great singers. You're not the only one. As a singer, we sometimes think that we can just turn up with just ourselves and we just kind of get on with it. But if you're going to work with a band, or you're going to start your own band, or you're going to turn up with a pad somewhere and do kind of like a jam or a session, something, you do need some equipment. So I think it's quite important to not just think that this is it. Yes, this is it, this is the voice. But if you want to go out and gig and people to book you, sometimes they're going to be looking for a singer that's got her own microphone, that's got her own PA, that's got her own car, that can get there, So you're thinking, yeah, but I've just got out of college, I don't have the money to buy all this stuff. Well, it's an investment. What, you know, a trumpet player can't turn up without a trumpet. He's not going to get given one when he gets to the gig. A drummer, he can't get to a gig and not have a drum kit. He has to have a drum kit. He also has to have somewhere to put it in a car to get to the gig. So all these things are really important, and I think sometimes as a singer we're a bit lazy like that, and we just sort of turn up and we just expect other people to have the stuff, and they don't. And so first and foremost, I would say, if you want to be a gigging singer, get yourself a decent microphone, a decent lead, an XLR lead. Get yourself a nice small PA. It doesn't have to be anything flashy. Get some poles to put it on. You know, don't be sticking it on a table or a chair. So you've got your mic, your lead, your PA. Get yourself a little monitor. If you know, if you're going to be saying, I can't hear myself, get a monitor. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. Just get a small one. You know, or if you know that there's going to be a PA at the gig, take your little PA that you've got, use that as monitors. If you're setting up your own band, you might also want to get a few little lights. LED lights, brilliant. Tiny little things, again, they're light, you don't need a load of heavy stuff. If you're going to be doing a massive gig to thousands of people, then obviously there's going to be some kind of PA company doing the job, you know, someone doing the sound, someone engineering it, so you're not going to need to worry about that. But it's when you're starting out, or when you're doing your own original material and you're turning up to venues that don't have their own gear, or maybe they do have their own gear but it's horrendous and you know that because you've done the gig before and you sounded a distorted wreck and it was hideous and there was too much top end on it. You've got the control of sorting out your own sound and your own, just your own fate of the gig. This was told to me a long time ago when I trained at Lipper. The first thing one of the tutors said to all of us singers is, get a pad together. And by a pad I mean your book of songs that are in your key, that are for musicians, lead sheets, or you know, proper sheet music, whatever it is, something that you can turn up to a gig, give to a band. You know, I'm not talking one copy, you need to have a pad for every single person in that band. Give them out, you know, with some idea of beginnings and endings on them, and sorted. Get together with someone that works on the scene where you are, where you live, or where you would like to gig. Get together with them, say to them, you know, would you mind doing me some charts? Can I come and we'll just, you know, I'll sing through some stuff, we can get it in the right key. You know, just get yourself. We're talking for a gig what you might need 30 charts, say, for a 2 set gig, 45 to an hour set, yeah? Get yourself 30 decent songs to start with, whether it's for a jazz gig, a pop gig, a soul gig. Get your act together, get some songs, because you will be so much more marketable to just go out, take it with you, there you go, yeah. Jazz gigs, I mean, this kind of depends on the area you live in, what goes on in your local music scene. Where I am, and I think a lot around the UK, there are a lot of jazz gigs going on that, you know, you turn up with your pad, sing some jazz standards, keeps the audience all happy, you get a few quid at the end of it, it's all good. So that's one way. You need to have your pad, you need to know what you're doing, you need to be able to know what's happening at the beginning of your songs, you know, what tempo they're in. Don't just kind of leave it up to the band, because it could all come crashing down in just a nightmare. So just really kind of like knowing your stuff, knowing your songs. I think, well, I can't sing jazz. Well, get practicing, because it's a, you know, it's a nice kind of way of just getting out there, playing with a few people, and if it is your thing, you know, they can lead on to other things. You meet musicians, you might then get involved in projects that are a bit more than just singing the same old, you know, it had to be you and that kind of thing. Functions and corporate work. Now you might go, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm not a function singer, you know, I'm too good for that. I'm not going to sing at weddings, I'm not going to sing at people's parties. Well, why not? You turn up, you do the gig, it's probably going to be the best paying gigs you're going to do unless you're pretty famous. So, believe me, I stuck my nose up at it for a while, and then I actually realised I could make a decent living out of doing a couple of these a week. You know, even one a week would make a massive difference to your income. And all you've got to do, again, is have a pad, start your own function band, get some musicians together that you know, get practicing, do the stuff. It can be a laugh, you know, go out and have fun with it. But it is a serious thing. I think to be an excellent top-class function band, you've got to be good musicians. It's not just about going and playing, you know, Brown Eyed Girl and all that every single week. Yes, you might play that song. Do it in your own way. Do it a little bit different. So another way is writing your own material. Now, some people may laugh and say, well, you're never going to make any money out of writing your own material, which can be very true for a long time. Gigging your own material, it's not going to bring in much money. At the beginning, it's also not going to bring in many people, you know, it's not going to bring much of an audience because no one knows anything about you. So things like that take time to build up. Whereas if you've been out on the jazz scene or you've been out on the function scene, you might have met people there that are interested in what you do. When you're doing an original gig, you know, you've got all their email addresses because, you know, you've got a website and you've got a little box where they sign up, or on a gig you've written down their emails. I'll be talking about this on another video. And then you send that email out and you'll be surprised at these people that turn up to see what you do really, you know, and that's the time you can go, well, this is me, this is what I do. The more people see you, the better, the more exposure for everything that you do. So original music, booking your own gigs, it might not be for that much money, yeah, but the function gigs are going to top that up. Yeah, the jazz gigs are going to top that up. So it's just being out there and working. So session work. Now you can think of session work in lots of different ways. You could think of maybe just turning up to a studio, someone gives you something, you sing it and you leave, and yeah, that's all good and you get paid a fee. Or you can also think of it as, I've had a lot of work through people send me tracks that I then write the lyrics and the melody for. I record it and I send it back. So that is another good way of kind of getting yourself out there and making an income. Sometimes, not all of it's paid. This kind of goes along with the original stuff. You know, it's the creative bit, it's the bit that keeps us happy and that keeps us, you know, from going absolutely mental and insane. So for something like that, I would suggest that it's a good idea to maybe get yourself a computer. It's got some music software on it that you can, you know, get yourself a decent mic, and then literally someone could send you a track, you hook it up in there. Yeah, you might need someone to sort of go through the basics with you, but really once you've done it, it's not that difficult. You just get the track up, you can be, you know, write your stuff, record it. People just want the tracks dry anyway when you send them back. Send it back, you know, you've done that. You've not had to go anywhere, you've not had to spend any money going anywhere, that person's not had to, you know, sort out a studio for you or anything. You've done it in your own home. You've literally just recorded your own thing, emailed it back, job done. That then could go on to being anything, you know, that could go on to a label, or it could go on to just more work or paid work. So these things, just don't don't write them off. Don't think, well, that's not what I want to do, I'm just doing this. Because as good as it is to be focused on one thing and to really aim for that, because that always has to be at the back of your mind, that's why we do what we do. But in the meantime, all these other things make you a better singer, make you a better performer, make you a better person, and that is gonna just, you know, the people you meet doing these things, if you're just doing one thing and no one's seeing you, no one's gonna know you exist and no one's ever gonna listen to your music. The dreaded word, teaching. Now, not a lot of people think that it's a good idea. They're like, I'm not doing that and I want to teach. That means I'm not a performer anymore, I'm a teacher. Well, I look at teaching, coaching, sharing your knowledge, whatever you want to call it, it's a state of mind really. You can look upon it as a horrible thing that you have to go and do because you need the money, and that, oh, these horrible children, or you know, these adults that turn up and, oh, they're a pain. Or you can look upon it and if you hate doing your teaching, then you're doing something wrong. If you're bored in your lessons, then the kids or the adults are going to be bored that you're teaching. It's up to you what you teach them. You know, if you're a peri teacher, I'm not talking about being a full-time music teacher. Whoa, no way. That is just something completely different altogether. I'm talking about peri teaching, going in, teaching your instrument. You know, I go and I teach people how to sing. I tell you what, I'd rather be doing that than working in a bar or doing a lot of the things that I used to have to do in between contracts of shows that I used to do. It's great. I'm being creative every day, I'm singing every day, I'm doing all kinds of things that have made me grow as a person and as a musician and as a singer. If you've got something to share with people, if you know anything about your voice, that if you know more than what they know, you've got something to share with them, you've got something to teach them, they've got something to learn from you, and you can make a pretty decent income from even doing just a few bits of teaching. I can then do things with that money, like make my own album, or, you know, like I was saying before, have a life, do some stuff in the meantime of building up this career that you want to do, the things that you want to do. Thank you very much for joining me. If you've got any questions, please email me at sarah@singersadvice.com. I'll see you next time at Singers Advice.